Hey, and welcome to WakeTV. I'm your host, Patrick McCauley. Normally, I'm the one behind the camera, but with the COVID-19 situation, I'm the one in front of it too. So stay tuned and we'll tell you all about what you can do during the stay-at-home order here in Wake County. Hey, and welcome back to WakeTV. We're out here at Robertson Mill Pond with Chris Snow, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Open Space for Wake County. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about where we are.
So we're at Robertson Mill Pond Nature Preserve. It's an 85-acre piece of property that the county purchased about 7 years ago. We opened it to the public in 2015. And it is a great example of a blackwater cypress swamp, something that is very common down east in North Carolina, but in this area, it's not that common.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean, I've always seen scenes from movies in swamps like this. It's really a very unique ecosystem for Wake County, right?
That's right. So like I said, much more common down east, but the really slow moving water because of the Mill Pond Dam. And you get these cypress trees that, again, more indicative down of eastern North Carolina, but they grow in these clumps and stands in the water, and they create these islands, and on these islands live all kinds of animals, and so lots of wildlife here, lots of bird activity. Hopefully we'll see some Pathonotary warbler today, a little yellow bird, very pretty. There's actually one right behind you right now.
Really?
Yep.
Cool.
So it's a great place to come and view wildlife, to paddle a canoe or kayak, to fish. So there's lots of things to do here.
Let's talk a little bit more about what activities folks can do out here. So you mentioned fishing and paddling, but there's actually like a paddling trail here, right?
That's correct. So we have buoys in the water that lay out a 1 mile loop trail. So folks, you can get turned around in here because of the little islands that I mentioned. So it's a trail that you can follow through the swamp and come back, brings you back to the dock and the put-in.
Cool. And how long does it take to paddle a mile?
I guess it depends on if you're with a group and want to stop and sightsee. So it's going to vary, but I would allow an hour to 2 hours to do it.
So you said that Wake County purchased this tract of land several years ago. Can you talk to us a little bit about why Wake County is purchasing land like this?
So in the late 90s, there were a lot of people that were concerned about the rapid development of Wake County. North Carolina is seeing a great influx of folks from all across the country, and it's a great place to live, work, and play. And so as folks came here, more and more development, subdivisions, strip malls, roadways, those kinds of things, there were a group of people that got concerned about the disappearing natural landscape. We had an open space task force for a while, and they came up with recommendations, and one of the recommendations was to try to protect some of the unique natural habitat that is Wake County. And so the county started acquiring land in the 2000s, and thanks to some bond referendum approved by the voters, we have been able to acquire just over 7,000 acres of land all across the county. Sometimes they're in larger chunks. The Proctor Farm Preserve, which will hopefully open in the future as another nature preserve like Robertson Mill Pond, it's 560 acres. When we bought it, it was the largest single tract we had ever purchased at one time. Robertson Mill Pond here is 85 acres, so it gives you a chance to kind of get out in a kind of a unique habitat. Again, here, the cypress swamp, and just see what some of these natural habitats would have been like in years gone by.
What differentiates a nature preserve from a Wake County park?
So the nature preserves tend to be a little less developed. There are no playgrounds here, no ball fields, or we don't even have restrooms in our nature preserve. So basically it's a gravel parking lot, and here a place to put in the mill pond and paddle around. At our Turnip Seed Nature Preserve, gravel parking lot leads into the trail system, and that's pretty much it. And so we try to keep them very minimally developed and more focused on the natural habitat.
So we were supposed to have an open house here this spring, which currently is being delayed due to the COVID-19 situation. But why were we going to have an open house this year?
So when we opened the mill pond back in 2015, the only amenities here were the parking area, a little picnic area, and a grass launch so you can put your boat in the mill pond, and a dock. And we went into phase 2. We received a Parks and Recreation Trust Fund grant from the state of North Carolina, which allowed us to add some amenities. The dock system that we're standing on now, we have an accessible trail, a quarter-mile loop trail here, and we took a trail down to the old mill foundation, and the last thing we're going to be putting in is interpretive signage that will allow folks to know a little bit more about where they're at. And so the whole idea around the open house this spring was to say, hey, look, we've got a phase 2 going, we've got new amenities for you to enjoy, and try to get a little buzz started around the new features.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about current events. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we're in the midst of this COVID-19 situation, and Wake County has issued a stay-at-home order. So I've heard a lot of newscasters talking about the need for people to continue to get out into nature and to clear their heads in, natural spaces.
Right.
So what can people do in Wake County parks at this time, granted that knowing that this might change in the future?
Right. So currently all of Wake County's parks and preserves are open. A lot of our amenities and facilities at these parks and preserves are closed though, so no restrooms, no playgrounds. It's pretty much a place to just come and walk and be outdoors. We have our open fields are open, our open play fields, so if you wanted to throw a frisbee or fly a kite with people in your immediate family, you still have to practice social distancing, even though the parks are open, which I know has been extremely difficult. There's been a lot of news around the crowding that's happening in parks right now. And so we've really been trying to stress with people about the social distancing to try to stay separate in their family groups. And so what we've seen over this past weekend, since the stay-at-home order went into effect, is the crowds are not as large as I would have thought they would have been with the really nice temperatures we had this past weekend. And folks seem to be distancing themselves. You can't always tell what's a family unit and what's 2 or 3 family units. But we're hoping that people are minding the rules and doing what they're supposed to be doing.
So when is what are the hours for the Robertson Mill Pond?
So right now we are weekends only. That's the same as with our other nature preserve Turnip Seed. We plan to go to 7 days a week on Mother's Day, and we'll be 7 days a week through the summer. But right now, weekends only.
Where can I go to learn more about this nature preserve and the rest of the nature preserves and parks in Wake County system?
So I would encourage you to check out our website, which is www.wakegov/parks. We have 10 units all across the county. Again, some are parks, some are preserves, and offer lots of different amenities for folks to get out and enjoy nature.
Well, thank you, Chris. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Dara Demai, and today we're going to be talking about the offerings that our public library system in Wake County has during this time of COVID-19. As you're aware, most schools are closed right now. Our public libraries are also closed, but that doesn't mean you can't access some of the services that they offer. Joining me to talk about what those services are is Ann Burlingame. She is the Deputy Director of the Wake County Public Library System. Thanks, Ann, for being with us.
Oh, thanks for asking me.
And we're 6 feet apart, just to make sure everyone knows we're practicing our social distancing
Absolutely,
today.
absolutely.
So what kind of a decision was that to make for you and the library director to close down the physical facilities of the library to stop the spread of COVID-19?
It was a very difficult decision, and I will say it was a little surreal because never in my career have we closed the library to the public in Wake County. Even when we put in a new ILS system, for checking out books. We try and do that when the library's open. So it was a very difficult decision, but I do feel it was the right decision, and I feel like it was in accordance with, Governor Cooper as well as with Chairman Greg Ford.
Absolutely. We definitely don't want to do anything that promotes the spread of germs, but we do want to keep promoting learning, especially with so many of our students not being able to go to school because the schools are closed, and adults who are also having to stay home, either with their children and practicing homeschooling or trying to get in work and plan activities.
Yes.
The libraries have a whole lot of online offerings that a lot of people may not know about, and right now they are very excited to take advantage of them, aren't they?
Oh, they are, absolutely. And really what our focus was promoting those online resources we have, but also expanding. And so one of the things that we've done is we have a self-registration application, and we've had that before, but we have really marketed it to the public, and it is amazing how many people are taking advantage. So what this is you can go on our website, and if you don't have a library card, you can register for one. And once you register for that card, you have access to all our electronic resources. So if you're at home and thinking, I might do a little genealogy work, you can look at Ancestry.com, you can look at Heritage Quest. If you're a high school student and you have the SAT or ACT coming up, possibly in June, you can use our Testing and Education Reference Center, which is an online database that has standardized tests. If you're an adult learner, we also have tests for those careers that require a standardized test. You want to learn a new language? We have Mango Languages, which is a database that will help you learn a new language. You want to watch a movie, a documentary, or perhaps an educational movie? We have Films on Demand, which have shows from PBS, Wolf Hall. It has shows about healthy living. So these databases have a wealth of information, and that's just a few that if you self-register, you will have access to. And I know that self-registration is really going well because generally on average we'd have 35 people a day self-register. Mm-hmm. We're having 135 a day.
Oh, wow.
And in the last 9 days, 1,079 people have taken advantage of self-registration.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, they're obviously seeing the value of these online resources that you have to offer. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should walk through the different age groups and say, kind of what are your favorites or what are most popular for the different age groups so people know what they can use for themselves and for their children.
Sure.
Maybe we start with the youngest ones. You have the online story time, which I think is such a great idea.
Yes, that's the Click, Watch, Learn, which is an animated story time which focuses on those 5 pre-literacy behaviors or skills that we use in our programs, which is reading, writing, playing, singing, talking. And so in these videos, each of those skills is the focus, and children can sing along, talk and play along to those videos. We also have on Facebook every day a literacy tip for parents. And again, they follow those 5 skills. So an example of one is reading. We all know that parents read to their children at night, but what we're trying to say is reading is part of play. So if you're in your living room, build a tent and get in the tent and read together. If you want to put lots of pillows and blankets in your bathtub. Make it a boat and read in your boat with your child. And I think parents need to remember that young children love to hear the same stories over and over. So if you're worried that, oh, I don't have as many physical print books, remember kids love to hear their favorites. Now, we may get tired of it, but kids love that. So those are some of the things we're doing for the youngest child. For school-age children, we have a Learn at Home resource kit, and it's available on our website. And what it does is it is listing all of the activities that the library is offering online and also our partner agencies. So Marbles, for example, is doing a lot, and we have a lot of stuff, information about Marbles and about, you know, new ways to play and learn at home. We're also going to transition our story writing contest, which is for kindergarten through 5th grade. It used to only be offered in the library. We are transitioning that to an online experience, and it will kick off on April 1st. Kindergarten through 5th grade, write your own story and submit it for prizes.
Oh, that's great. And it can be about any topic they want?
It's a short story, whatever you want to write about, yes. And we're going to try and make it very easy to submit it. But it's a popular program. We've only really done it one library, and I'm so excited to expand it online to all our libraries. For high schoolers, you know, again, we have the test prep. We also have in our databases a number of those classic books that kids need to read in school available. We have purchased lots and lots of more ebooks, e-audio, because when we knew this was coming, we transitioned some of our allocated budget from print to e. And as a result, we have added 2,000 copies of books to e. Our circulation in e is up 66% from this period last year. So people are using it. And one more thing, Dara, we also have e-magazines. And e-magazines, we have 50 magazines, lifestyle, news, celebrity, and what they offer is simultaneous use. So you can have as many people in Wake County reading the new Newsweek. It's not like just one per person per book. So that's another great source that we offer the public.
That's great. And all you have to do is go to the website and be able to access all of this?
There's a link on our website that says home access from your library, and you just click onto that, and it will take you to all these resources.
Oh, that's so exciting. Because we can't go out to bookstores these days, and we can't go over to the library. And a lot of people are not in a financial situation at this time to be able to order things online. So you have made this whole library of resources available to people, and that must feel good to be able to provide that service.
We really are. I mean, it is hard on librarians not to be working with their community every day, and they are all working hard to come up with new ideas. We even have a tool where we're capturing an online tool where we're capturing all the staff's new ideas. Could we do this? Could we do this? So, you know, we're hoping for tutorials on how to access ebooks online. We're hoping to do a book discussion online. So we're just trying to do as much as we can to provide people their public library, because in times of, you know, crisis, a library is a comfort. And I think, you know, not being able to come to your library, you lose that normalcy. And so we're hoping that we can fill that void with these e-resources.
Oh, I think you definitely already have. And hopefully people will see this and even more folks will take advantage of it. What is your favorite of all the online offerings that you make available to people? Which one is your favorite?
Well, I think for children, I really love Click, Watch, Learn, the animated series. I'm also looking forward to that we have our librarians doing some programs, and those are going to come out for people to watch. I love the databases. I think that people don't realize how much information there is out there. Even I didn't realize it. And the other day I was just decided to watch Wolf Hall from PBS, and it came to me through my library. So with the Films on Demand electronic resource. So, and then I love e-audio. I don't have as much time to read. So I listen all the time, and it's very easy to download our books. And if you have a problem, you can always call. But like I said, we're working on a tutorial.
That's excellent. That's excellent. What about the folks who may have books checked out before the library's closed? They still have them at home, probably still reading them, maybe for the second time. But what should they do in terms of returning them? Should they just hang on to them, or
yes?
What is
we want you to keep whatever books you have. Our book drops are no longer open. And remember, we are late fee free, so you will not be charged for those overdue fines, because there are no overdue fines. And we're also putting something in our Horizon system, so books won't go into this long overdue status because they're staying with the people at the people's houses. So we just really keep the books, and we will look forward to welcoming you back when you bring them back to us. Plus, we're hoping it's an incentive, because we want everyone to come back. We miss you. We miss everybody so much.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it is very sad for the librarians who are continuing to work, maybe putting up new displays or reshelving books.
There's only so much.
There's only so much you can do when you don't have anybody to serve.
Yes, it is. It's difficult, but it's part of the reason they're all coming up with ideas for expanding our services online. And we have a great staff. They really have been very flexible, very willing to do things a little bit differently. And all of them were probably just as shocked as I was when we said we had to close the libraries to the public. But they're faring well.
Yes, and it was definitely the right step to take. So any other options that you see coming down the pike that you might want to mention or tease a little bit so that people can have something else to look forward to when they go to your website?
Well, I do want to say that I think in April we'll have the story times online, and those are story times that are done by our librarians, so they'll be familiar to people and their children. So that should be up in April. I really want to encourage, if you've got a kindergartner through fifth grader, do that story writing contest. Nothing is as important as, trying to continue to learn. And this is a great way, creative writing, it'll be a fun way to practice their skills. And it's like I said, there's a winner for kindergartners, first, second, third. So your kindergartner's not going to be competing with the fifth graders. Don't worry about that. We also, I forgot to mention, we have on through Overdrive something called read-alongs, and those are for aspiring readers. They have a narrator that helps children learn to read, and so I would encourage parents who have those young aspiring readers to take a look for those too.
Oh, that's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm a parent, just like you, and even my 10-year-olds enjoy me still reading aloud to them. They're harder books, that we read, that we've gotten through the library, but even they are enjoying that aspect of kind of this new life at home today with COVID-19.
And I think, it's so interesting that everybody really forgets how nice it is to have someone read aloud to you. I think that's why I like audiobooks. I just I like to be read to. And sometimes it's nice to escape into a book instead of listening to the news. You want to be informed, but I got to the point that I was informed and I needed to, listen to a good book. So I highly recommend that.
It does let you, since we can't really travel right now, it gives you the opportunity to kind of take that mental vacation, you were saying.
I was recently in Russia.
Without ever leaving your home.
Exactly. It was great.
Yeah, how wonderful. Well, I would also assume that you have a lot of books that are available online that could help parents with activities, not just, reading, reading aloud or letting kids read on their own, but, that could show parents, here are some art activities you could do with your children.
And a number of authors and as well as artists are going online and doing tutorials, and a lot of those links are in our Learn at Home resource that's on the web. So it kind of will tell you ideas of things to do with your children when you're at home and you need a break from maybe, if you're homeschooling, or if you just want to do something that brings everybody together to kind of be with each other in this time of uncertainty. So the resource at home, or Learn at Home, I think it's going to be very useful, because we've just collected what everybody's doing and put it in one place. And that's what the library does. Let's make the things that are out there easier to use and easier to access. And so I think that'll be helpful to parents too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's only so many times you can play Monopoly or Scrabble and you kind of run out of ideas. So
Yes.
what a great resource to use to get some new ideas, to keep your kids from being super bored, or even yourself from being super bored.
yes. Yeah.
I think that's a great
And
asset.
It's a great way to manage stress, because I just know with my, with my own daughter is, if you're frustrated and stressed, if you can get something to distract you rather than to, take it out on each other. And so you can kind of focus on, okay, well, let's do this art project, or let's play this game that Marbles has come up with for us. And I do think it's impressive. I think that so many organizations that their work revolves around children have really risen to the occasion to kind of continue to be in these children's lives.
Well, it's wonderful. And I know just based solely on comments we're seeing on the Wake County social media accounts, people are really appreciating it. And
They
valuing
are.
it.
It is, and it does make you just feel really good about what you're doing, and that and we've had even suggestions. Could you do this, and would you do this, and we're able to sometimes fulfill that suggestion, and sometimes we have to say no, we can't do that. But people are generally very understanding. They really are. They understand the limitation, and I think overall people do have a understanding of this idea of being aware of the governor and the chair's mandate.
And so I'm sure people are wondering, well, when will our libraries reopen again so I can go back in and see the librarian that I know and I miss? And it's just kind of uncertain right now, right?
It is. I think, they extended the closing till April 30th to just evaluate, I think, what happens with the virus. But, we are ready to come back. The minute we can, we will be ready to come back, and we will be so excited to see everybody. So we're kind of we're in this together, and we will continue to keep in touch. That's one of the wonderful things about social media, that we're able to kind of with Facebook and, as with Twitter, is keep in touch with our community. And we'll keep doing that. And like I said, we really do miss seeing everybody every day.
And I know they miss seeing all of you too. Well, is there anything I didn't ask that you would like to talk about before we close things up today?
I don't think so, but I do so appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for giving us the time to talk about what we're doing.
Oh, of course. Well, thank you so much for doing it and providing such a valuable asset to our community. It really is important during these times where everyone's in a new place and feels like a new world, and we're just getting through it all together, and the library is an important part of that. So.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
it's
you,
nice to
Ann.
be here.
Nice to have you. For more information on all the wonderful programs that we've talked about today, you can go to wakegov.com/libraries. If you'd like more information about the county's response to the coronavirus, you can visit wakegov.com/COVID-19.
That's all for this episode of Wake TV. Keep up with the latest Wake County news by visiting us online at wakegov.com/news. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube so you can always stay in the loop. We'll see you next time.